Does everyone remember rugby? That thing we used to talk about a bit before we all got super into meteorology? You know, the ball looked weird or something. It feels like a long time. It feels like we just talked about typhoons for as long as I can remember. Like I can't remember. Did we talk about like rucks or passing or I don't know? Let's try and remember it. Should we try and cast our minds back to the days in which we talked about things that we won't be watching on Saturday? Uruguay have only one more game to play in the 2019 Rugby World Cup, and I wish it was against anyone but my nominal team, Wales, because my god am I going to miss them. I went into the tournament as apparently one of Uruguay's bigger fans because I knew who most of the players were, but they're leaving as almost my favourite team, a passion for the nation burning as deep within my heart as it does within theirs. Uruguay simply gave everything. Coach Esteban Meneses deserves an enormous amount of credit. Given the time he has with the players, you can only upskill them to a certain degree, and it'd be impossible to implement a Joe Schmidt-style game plan that requires each player to do the amount of work required to get an actual degree. Instead, Meneses has tapped into something else. There's something Gatland-esque about the way his system is built on work ethic, and in order to execute it, he tapped into such a ferocious passion from his team. Hooker Herman Kessler is perhaps the most underrated player at the pool stage for me, and the entire side just worked their beautiful blue socks off every game. Uruguay played Australia in the last World Cup too, and in that game, the Wallabies had the bonus point within 20 minutes. This time, Uruguay held them until after half-time, and they even scored a try of their own, only for the enemy of all things fun in rugby, Ben Skeen, to step in and disallow it. Ben Skeen is the kind of guy who probably thinks the whole World Cup and the upcoming Six Nations should both be cancelled because of this typhoon. Ben Skeen was probably the guy who reported my videos to World Rugby's lawyers. Ben Skeen is the kind of guy who voted yes for Jamie Heaslip starting a podcast. Ben Skeen is the kind of guy you come across in any job, a frustrated, dull white man who was given a little bit of power and has now run with it and taken it to his logical extreme. This was far from the most frustratingly petty, self-serving thing Skeen did last weekend, never mind this World Cup. And this is actually the 5th time I've written a bit on what a tedious peasant TMO Ben Skeen is. A man with more means of flushing away fun than a Japanese toilet. But in the past I've always cut it because it felt harsh to pick on a TMO who nobody knows. But when he comes to picking on my beloved Uruguay, he crossed a goddamn line. But it's worth reiterating, this game, no matter how hard he tried, was not about Ben Skeen. Australia scored 7 tries as well. Most of them were lovely, but that was frankly selfish, because this game was not about them either. It wasn't even about the ever-glorious It was about Uruguay's full 23's sheer determination, grit typified by them managing to squeak over for a try as Manuel Diana scored his 2nd try of the tournament, which is the same number as Rico Ioane, Anthony Watson, Stuart Hogg, George North and Willie Roux have managed between them. As for Australia, shut up Australia, nobody cares. Just as nobody will care about Wales on Sunday. Vamos los Terros. Vamos Felipe, Vamos Gaminara, Vamos both of their 9s, Vamos Diana, Vamos Villaseca, Vamos Cat, Vamos Silva, Vamos Freitas, Vamos Mieles, and, of course, Vamos Zombies, now and forever. Canada, on the other hand, showed exactly the other end of the American underdog spirit, as they just let South Africa pummel them for a bit before returning one blow straight with the shoulder. Larson set arson to Ardren's afternoon, leaving the Canadian captain as perhaps the most luckless player in this year's World Cup. There were 620 people taking part in this World Cup, and not one of them has given so much for such little reward as Ardron. South Africa, on the other hand, were just terrific. Even when the game slowed down in the second half, they remained in complete control. Granted, Canada were a shower of shite, but the box broke them down in different and varied ways. You can only beat the team in front of you, and South Africa did that to an extreme extent. Cobus Reinach's hat-trick deservedly nabbed a lot of attention, but I thought Haji Snyman was deservedly man of the match, just charging about and destroying everything in front of him like the cell-shaded Viking he is. The dual continental theme built into an all-American showdown between the United States of whatever and the unidentified big cats of Argentina. Now, I hold my hand up. I suggested this USA team might be better than people give them credit for before the tournament, and that hasn't really proven to be the case. But at least they nabbed 2 nice tries, both through their super serumed captain, Blaine Scully. This little kick from AJ McGinty stood out in what was a battle between the World Cup's two best 10s in the worst form, as Nico Sanchez managed to pull back bits of what used to make him special. Whilst Erdebajeta has sporadically done a decent job of dictating the dull stuff, it did feel nice to see Sanchez just bringing runners onto the ball rather than just waiting for them to invite themselves in. He's still far from back to his best, but it was a far improved performance from Sanchez, and it was really encouraging to see, and it allowed some of the Argentine backs around him to shine. So Batista Delgui remains just one of my favourite human beings, just one of my favourite lumps of flesh I've ever come across. And Juan Manea made some World Cup debut and put himself up through 2 tries, God knows how many assists, and the most line breaks of anyone in the tournament so far, to be selected by whoever the Argentina boss will be when they reconvene next year. That is Kumamoto. This is me. I am in Kumamoto, funny enough, in a hotel room, recording this in a less exciting environment, just because I actually literally just finished that video moments earlier, and I'm just going to stick this on the end. Thank you for watching. Thank you to everyone that has actually continued to watch, because I recognise the numbers are down to the whole video thing, so I really do genuinely appreciate it. I'm in my last week in Japan now, which is a weird thought. I genuinely thought I was going to be here forever when I set out, so here we are. Everything is building towards a climax. I'm trying to get through as much of the backlog as possible and try and keep up to date, and hopefully clear as many of them during the week to go between the quarterfinals and the end of the pool stage, which is very close, very close. We're almost there. It's literally tomorrow. Wow, okay. So yeah, thank you for watching. There's going to be more coming. I'm trying to just pump out as much as I can, and I'll see you soon.